Chief Guest, His Lordship, Honorable Justice Yasantha Kodagoda, President's Counsel, Justice of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, Chairman of APIIT Sri Lanka, Mr. Bandula Egodage, Head of APIIT Law School, Dr. Chathura Varnasuriya, expert assessors, distinguished guests, participants, to those joining us online, and to everyone gathered here. A very good morning to all of you. My name is Sanshi Premaratna.
And I am Ravon Fonseca, and we will be your hosts for today. It is with immense joy and anticipation that we welcome you to the opening ceremony of the APIIT Law School International Negotiation Competition, ALSINC 2026. Today, we unveil the 6th edition of this prestigious event, marking a significant milestone in Sri Lanka's academic and alternative dispute resolution landscape.
ALSINC is the first and only international negotiation competition in Sri Lanka, organized annually by the Moot Debate and Mock Mediation Society, MDMMS, of APIIT Law School, Colombo. It has evolved into a hallmark initiative of the MDMMS, strategically designed to enrich students' mastery and appreciation of alternative dispute resolution within both local and international spheres.
Please be seated. Continuing our renowned tradition of global reach, we are delighted to host another unique edition of ALSINC, once again uniting participants from around the world, both online and on-site, here in the beautiful island of Sri Lanka.
Our grand gathering began with a truly spellbinding Kandyan dance performance. As an iconic upcountry classical art form, the Udaratanatum holds a timeless place in Sri Lanka's artistic legacy. Grounded in the commanding rhythms of the Gatabereya and elevated by the presence of dancers in traditional Hisavest attire, this showcase paid a proud tribute to our heritage. We are deeply honored to have welcomed our local and international guests with this brilliant manifestation of Sri Lankan artistry.
At its core, negotiation is the art of strategic communication, a dynamic exchange of ideas and perspectives that fundamentally shape our world. Today, we gather not only to celebrate the mastery of negotiation, but also to embark on a journey that will test our skills, elevate our collective communication, and redefine our approach.
We will now proceed with a traditional and meaningful ritual, the lighting of the oil lamp. This cherished tradition symbolizes enlightenment, unity, and the triumph of knowledge. The rooster at the top of the lamp signifies a new beginning and the dawn of new opportunities. Just as the oil lamp dispels darkness, it represents the illumination of our minds and the pursuit of clarity, understanding, and wisdom.
We cordially invite forward the following dignitaries to join us for the lighting of the oil lamp. Chief Guest, His Lordship, Honorable Justice Yasantha Kodagoda, President's Counsel, Justice of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, Chairman of APIIT Sri Lanka, Mr. Bandula Egodage, Chief Academic Officer, Mr. Gamidu Hemachandra, Head of APIIT Law School, Dr. Chathura Varnasuriya, Head of Business School, Dr. Hasuli Pereira, Head of Computing School, Dr. Chaman Vijay Sirivardhana, Senior Law Lecturer of APIIT Law School, Colombo, Mr. Samira Silva, Patron of MDMMS, Colombo, Ms. Ravini Pereira, Chairperson of ALSINC 2026, Ms. Prabhani Senanaika, and Co-Chairperson of ALSINC 2026, Mr. Akidu Patirage. We kindly request all to rise for the lighting of the traditional oil lamp and to continue to remain in respectful attention for the APIIT anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. I beg your pardon. Please remain standing for the APIIT anthem.
Be the inspiration, be the national leader in our care, in our care. Be the inspiration, be the national leader in our care, in our care. Find your true calling, find worldly wisdom in APIIT hallowed ground.
Thank you. You may now please be seated.
As we commence the opening ceremony of ALSINC 2026, here is a glimpse into the diverse and talented teams that will join us this year at ALSINC, both online and on-site.
Namaskar, I am Jilisa Pokhre, currently studying in 5th year BA LLB at Kathmandu School of Law. I, along with my teammates, are very excited to participate in ALSINC Negotiation Competition 2026.
Namaste, I'm Siddharth Thapa. I'm currently studying in BLLB 5th year at Kathmandu School of Law, and we're very excited to participate in ALSINC Negotiation Competition 2026.
Namaskar, my name is Saurabh Yadav, a BLLB 5th year student at Kathmandu School of Law. Me and my teammates are going to participate in ALSINC Negotiation Competition 2026.
Namaskar. Hello. My name is Akansha Karmacharya, currently a student at Kathmandu School of Law, studying at BLLB 5th year. We are pleased to become the part of ALSINC Negotiation Competition 2026.
Namaste. I'm Sanjana. My name is Vidya. We're from Maharashtra National University in Mumbai, India. We're really excited to participate in this edition of ALSINC.
Hello everyone, I'm Diya Ranju.
And I am Ashutosh Kar. We're excited to represent the National Law School of India, University, Bangalore at this edition of ALSINC 2026.
We're super thrilled to meet all of you, exchange ideas and just get to know you a bit more.
Can't wait to see you and learn from you in Sri Lanka. Truly excited to explore the country as well. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Deborah and this is Jared and we are Team 04 from National University of Singapore. Jared and I are rising year 2s and we are very excited to participate in this competition.
We are really happy to be able to get the chance to represent NUS at this competition and more importantly, to experience Sri Lankan culture and to meet the international teams there. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
We look forward to meeting everybody. Bye!
Hi everyone, we're Team B from the National University of Singapore. I'm Caroline.
And I'm Angel. This is actually our first time participating in a negotiation competition. So we're super stoked to engage with everyone's styles and perspectives.
We're incredibly excited to be part of ALSINC 2026 and to represent NUS alongside so many talented teams from across Asia.
We're looking forward to challenging ourselves through this valuable opportunity and growing as negotiators.
Most of all, we're excited to meet all of you, exchange ideas, and make lasting friendships throughout the competition.
See you at ALSINC.
Good evening everyone, my name is Oishik Chatterjee and I'm a third year law student from the West Bengal National University of Juridical Sciences.
Good evening everyone, my name is Chris Tangachan and I'm a third year law student from National University of Juridical Sciences.
Good evening everyone, my name is APIIT and I'm a third year student at the National University of Juridical Sciences.
We are Team A representing West Bengal National University of Juridical Sciences. Our team code is Team 06. We are really looking forward to meeting everyone in ALSINC 2026 in Sri Lanka.
Good evening, everybody. We're the teams from WBNU there, and we're very excited for ALSINC 2026. We look forward to competing with you and seeing you very, very soon. Yeah, that's all.
Hi, this is Ishna. I'm a fourth year law student at OP Jindal Global University and I'm really looking forward for the competition at ALSINC and really looking forward to participate with all the teams and for the exposure that comes with it.
Hi, I'm Avni. I'm a 5th year law student at OP Jindal Law School and I'm really looking forward to the competition.
Hi everyone, I'm Aditya Karthik and I'm in my 4th year of law school. I'm really excited for the ALSINC 2026 competition and to gain exposure from all the international teams. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Akshit Mehta and I'm really looking forward for the ALSINC 2026 competition.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is Selaka Mao and I'm so excited to be part of the team from the University of Nairobi, Kenya that will be participating in the ALSINC Moot. Additionally, it will be a great privilege and honor to get to interact with people from various walks of life and get to appreciate the various negotiation styles that they adopt. See you then.
Hi, my name is Brittany Lena Quiet and I am thrilled to be part of our ALSINC team. So I look forward to learning and embracing this incredible opportunity, as well as challenging myself and eventually growing as a negotiator. Thank you.
Greetings. My name is Kristen Ivy. Excited to be part of the ALSINC 26, and we are thrilled and looking forward to what's ahead of us.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Aryan.
I'm Simar.
And so.
And we will be representing Gujarat National Law University at the 6th edition of ALSINC International Negotiation Competition.
We are very excited to represent our university at such a global stage and represent our country as well in this intermingling of cultures.
And we hope to make the best of this competition.
We look forward to seeing you and learning from this unique experience.
Hello everyone, my name is Serena Raikaraka. My name is Sajini Ratnayaka. My name is Kamodina Singha. My name is Inhalini Mona. We are really excited and honored to have been selected to represent our faculty of law from the University of Colombo this year. And we are also really excited to be a participating team in ALSINC 2026. We wish all teams taking part the very best of luck. And we look forward to having a great competition. See you there!
Greetings to all. We need to understand that every negotiation begins even before a single word is spoken. It begins with preparation, perspective, and the willingness to truly listen. Negotiation is just not about winning an argument. It is about creating understanding, building trust, and creating solutions that endure.
In the world of competing voices, the best negotiator is not the one who is loudest, but the one who leads with precision, clarity, and strategy.
We are representing National Law University of Ranchi. Hello, my name is Aditi Singh. Hello, I'm Akshata Singh.
Hello, I'm Shamali Tiwari.
We are here to negotiate with purpose, poise,
and confidence.
Looking forward to meeting.
Namaste.
My name is Khushi and I'm from Ludhiana, Punjab.
My name is Vidhi and I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan.
I'm Gauransh. I am from Rohtak, Haryana.
I'm Rini and I'm from Bangalore, Karnataka. We are all representing National Law University, Jodhpur.
And we are very excited to meet all of you at ALSINC 2026 this year.
Representing Nalsar University of Law at ALSINC 2026, and I'm Utkarsh Agarwal. My main job is to work around numbers, work around strategies, and making sure we know what we are negotiating for on the table. We completely look forward to bringing our perspective and our preparation to the table.
Hi everyone, my name is Shreya and I'm a final year student at Nalsar. I have always loved to read, and reading people is something that I've developed as a habit and a hobby, which is why at ALSINC I'll be asking all the right questions and pushing where the push is needed. Although I do look forward to meeting everyone outside the negotiation table as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Kanasha, and what I bring to the table is a spirit of the 3 C's, that of collaboration, cooperation and consensus, so that we can truly walk away with deals that both sides can meaningfully live with. Thank you.
Hi everyone, we are the team from Nalsar University of Law, Hyderabad. I am Surat Srivastav, currently in my 5th year of the BLLB Honours course. Mediation is something which I am really passionate about because of its strategic thinking and commercial problem solving skills involved. In that light, I have exposed myself to various area skills by means of various national and international competitions, and in that light, I am very keen and curious about participating in APIIT ALSINC because of its truly cross-border nature, cultural diversity, and the professional and practical nature of the problems involved. I really look forward to meeting you all, having fun and making the most of the competitions. See you!
Hi everyone, this is Belinda from Nalsar University of Law. I'm super excited to be participating in this edition of ALSINC alongside peers from all over the world to negotiate. I'm really excited again, and see you in Colombo.
Hi everyone, my name is Swati and I'm a member of Team B of the Nalsar contingent that's taking part in the ALSINC International Negotiation Competition this year. To begin with, I'd like to say that I'm very excited for the opportunity to be participating in such a competition, and I'm really looking forward to interacting with participants from universities across the world. Finally, I'd say I'm very excited to be exploring Sri Lanka for the very first time.
Hello everyone, I'm Nida and I'm part of the team that's representing Nalsar at ALSINC, and
I'm really excited about the fact that ADR at its core is about cooperation. So I'm curious to see the unique ways that people come up with ways to cooperate through the problems that have been given to us. And I'm very excited to meet everyone from the other universities.
Hi, I'm Nishka.
I'm Sanuka.
I'm Anuksha. And I'm Vidya. And we are here representing Law Institute campus at Team A for ALSINC 2026. For us, negotiation is at the heart of the legal practice.
While litigation resolves disputes, negotiation creates opportunities that preserves relationships.
A great lawyer isn't just someone who can win a court. It's someone who can listen, persuade, find common ground, and build trust. This passion for negotiation that brought us to ALSINC 26.
See you at the table.
Every negotiation starts with a conversation.
And every conversation is a chance to learn something new. That's what brings us to ALSINC 26.
I'm Joel.
I'm Nihini. And I'm Rufin.
We are proud to represent Royal Institute Campus Team B. We're excited to meet talented negotiators from different universities,
challenging ourselves with new perspectives and to grow from every round and every discussion.
We are grateful to be a part of ALSINC 2026 and can't wait to see you there.
Greetings everyone, I'm Diya Jain.
I'm Reena Verma.
I'm Shiza Kirti.
And I'm Devanshu Ilyas.
We are representing National Law Institute University Bhopal at the 6th edition of the APIIT Law School International Negotiation Competition.
We're third-year students at NLIU Bhopal, and we see ALSINC as an opportunity to learn, grow and meet a lot of new people. We take this opportunity very seriously and we strive to put our best foot forward. We're eagerly waiting to meet all of you at Colombo. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ninduha Panguma.
Hi, I'm Rana Surya.
Hi, I'm Stampa Fayez. And we are from Horizon Campus.
We're so excited to take part in ALSINC 2026 and we cannot wait to compete alongside talented teams from across the region.
We're looking forward to learn and grow from this experience and more importantly, to make new friends.
We hope not only to up our negotiation skills but also to make new memories. See you there!
See you there!
Hello everyone, this is Team 22 from Christ University, Bangalore, and I'm Harshad.
I'm Janvi Chowdhury. I'm Anushka Sharma.
And I'm Siddharth. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to participate in the competition.
We're really looking forward to participating in the competition. I wish everyone all the best.
Hi, my name is Asant Lakshman.
I'm Reshma Makshuda. I'm Iza Fauzin.
My name is Abdullah Siddiq and we are from Sri Lanka Law College.
We are so excited to be a part of ALSINC 2026 this year.
See you there.
Hi, I'm Dhanvi. Hi, I'm Abdullah.
Hi everyone, I'm Smriti.
I am Prince. And I am Hussein.
And the three of us are representing Damodaram Central National Law University, Visakhapatnam, India at ALSINC 2026.
We are really looking forward to the competition, especially getting to negotiate with teams we haven't met before and how differently everyone approaches to the same situation. That would be a great opportunity. And I think that what we are most excited about, having good negotiations, learning as we go, and hopefully surprising ourselves a little along the way.
So yeah, we are very excited to be here and we will see you all at ALSINC 2026. Thank you so much.
Namaste. We are the team 26, the team representing Damodaram Sanjivaya National University, Visakhapatnam, and we have.
Hello guys, I am Kritika and I am a third year student studying BA/LLB Honours. We have.
And I am Ikshita. I am studying in my 4th year BA/LLB Honours.
And I am Hasini and I am studying in 3rd year BA/LLB Honours. And we have.
And I am Paulani. I am studying in 3rd year BA/LLB Honours. And we are ready for the competition.
And we are grateful for this opportunity provided by APIIT School.
I am so excited for the competition and the upcoming edition.
And we are so happy to be there. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Vasundhara, a third year BBA LLB law student from Himachal Pradesh National University, Shimla, India. I am excited to be part of the ALSINC 2026 International Mediation Competition. I look forward to meeting you all and having a great time. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Sharma. I am currently a third year law student at Himachal Pradesh National Law University, Shimla. I am super delighted to be part of ALSINC 2026 and I am looking forward to this opportunity to learn, grow and connect with people. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi guys, I'm Samaira Kaur, a third year law student at Himachal Pradesh National Law University, India. And I'm so excited to be a part of ALSINC and I'm so excited to meet all of you in Sri Lanka this year. Thank you so much for having me. See you soon.
Hello, my name is Peter Heath. I am a student at the University of Staffordshire in England on the two-year fast-track LLB course. It will be my great pleasure to be joining you along with my colleague Claudia at the ALSINC negotiation competition 2026.
Hello, I'm Claudia and I'm also a student at the University of Staffordshire on the 3-year course for law. It will be my pleasure as well to be joining you for the ALSINC negotiation competition 2026.
Standing at the forefront of this event, Dr. Chathura Varnasurya has consistently provided his vast professional insights while taking on numerous responsibilities to ensure our collective success. His remarkable leadership has added tremendous value to this entire competition, and his enduring ability to inspire and motivate our team continues to leave a lasting impact. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to invite the head of APIIT Law School, Dr. Chathura Varnasurya, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. I have a quite long speech. And before that, when I saw these videos, I felt very happy, these enthusiastic faces of future lawyers. And I saw everyone was very happy. And it's very proud moment for APIIT as well. And thank you so much for visiting Sri Lanka. Thank you so much for coming to this competition from Sri Lankan universities as well. And we are truly happy to have you here. Let me start my formal speech. It is with immense pleasure and great pride that I welcome you all to the 6th edition of APIIT Law School International Negotiation Competition, ALSINC 2026. Today is not simply the opening of another competition. It is the celebration of an idea that negotiation is not merely about winning an argument, but about finding solutions, managing differences, building relationships, and ultimately advancing justice. First and foremost, it's my great honor and privilege to extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished chief guest, His Lordship Justice Yasantha Kodagoda, President Counsel, Judge of the Supreme Court of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Your Lordship, we are truly honored by your presence here today. As a legal academic and avid reader of judicial decisions, I have had the privilege of following your Lordship's judgments. What I particularly admire is not merely the conclusions reached, but the depth of research, intellectual rigor, careful examination of competing arguments, and the profound attention given to justice and the public interest. Perhaps one of the most significant examples is the Express Pearl marine environmental pollution case. Your Lordship's contributions to that judgment demonstrate the ability of the law to confront an environmental catastrophe of extraordinary magnitude and to examine questions of environmental protection, public interest, state responsibility and accountability with remarkable depth. The judgment is particularly significant because it demonstrates how constitutional and public law can respond to consequences extending far beyond individual litigants, to our environment, our economy, and future generations. I have also followed with great interest your Lordship's judgment in Ranawaka Arachige, Gamini Jayaratne and others versus SMLR Bandar and others concerning the protest arising from the human-elephant conflict. The judgment provides an important examination of fundamental rights, the exercise of judicial discretion, and the relationship between public order and the right of citizens. Similarly, in Patali Champika Ranawaka versus Honorable Attorney General, your Lordship dealt with the complex doctrine of issue estoppel. We law students all know about estoppel. And it is relationship with criminal proceedings, demonstrating the importance of legal finality while carefully examining the competing demands of justice and truth. And in Ceylon Coalstop PLC versus Intercompany Employee Unions, your Lordship's contributions to Supreme Court consideration of jurisdictions and power of labour tribunal illustrate the importance of approaching labour law not merely through technical rules, but through the broader principles of fairness and statutory purpose of labour dispute resolution. What I find particularly inspiring about this judgment is the breadth of research, the depth of reasoning, and the ability to connect legal doctrine with its real-world consequences. Your Lordship, these are precisely qualities that we hope our students will develop, not simply the ability to know the law, but the ability to question it, analyze it, apply it, and understand its consequences for society. It is therefore a privilege to have you with us today. And on behalf of APIIT Law School, I extend your Lordship our sincere appreciation and a very warm welcome. I also extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished international and local assessors, our participating teams from around the world, the chairman of APIIT Sri Lanka, our distinguished guests, colleagues, academic staff, and most importantly, our enthusiastic students. ALSINC is not simply another students' competition. It is a platform through which we seek to raise standards of negotiation, advocacy, communication, and dispute resolution among the next generation of legal professionals. ALSINC is proud to stand as Sri Lanka's only international negotiation competition, bringing together young negotiators from different jurisdictions, legal systems, and cultural backgrounds. What began as an online competition in 2021 has developed into a significant international event, evolving into a hybrid format and continuing to expand its international reach. This year, we are delighted to welcome 28 teams, with 24 teams participating physically and 4 teams participating online, representing countries including Sri Lanka, India, Singapore, Nepal, the United Kingdom, and Kenya. We are delighted to have a team from Nepal, and we understand that you are having a difficult time in your country. And please accept our deepest condolences, and we are here with you with solidarity. We are equally privileged to have a distinguished panel of national and international assessors bringing together expertise from jurisdictions including Sri Lanka, India, Germany, Israel, Norway, Kyrgyzstan, the United States, and the United Kingdom. This diversity is important, because when students negotiate with someone from another country, another legal tradition, and another culture, they learn something that cannot always be taught inside a classroom. They learn to listen, they learn to adapt, they learn to think strategically, and most importantly, they learn to understand perspective of different from their own. At APIIT Law School, we strongly believe that legal education cannot be confined to lectures, textbooks, and examinations. A successful lawyer needs more than knowledge of legal rules. A successful lawyer must be able to communicate, negotiate, collaborate, analyze problems, think under pressure, understand people, and make sound professional judgments. That is why extracurricular activities form an important part of our educational philosophy. Our students have consistently shown in international and national mooting, negotiation, mediation, and other ADR competitions. They have represented APIIT with distinction and demonstrated that the quality of a law student is measured not only by examination results, but also by the ability to adapt knowledge in challenging and unfamiliar situations. ALSINC is one of the most significant expressions of that philosophy. But these are something even more important about. But there is something even more important about ALSINC. Our students are not participants; they are the organizers. The research, planning, negotiation scenarios, logistic, communication, international coordination, hospitality, and countless other aspects of competition have required our students to work as a professional team. That experience is itself a form of legal education. I remember when we had first and second ALSINC, I used to check everything when it comes to organization. Now I have the confidence that my students can do it without my help. So I'm happy to say that I had very minimal involvement in this organizing this event. At APIIT Law School, we recognize that the future of dispute resolution cannot depend exclusively on litigation. Mediation, negotiation, arbitration, and other forms of alternative dispute resolutions are increasingly important to modern legal practice and international commerce. They offer opportunities to resolve dispute more efficiently, preserve commercial relationship, and develop solution and traditional litigation may not always provide. APIIT Law School has therefore made a conscious commitment to promoting ADR education and practice both locally and internationally. Through ALSINC, we have created a platform where Sri Lankan students can engage with international students, academics, practitioners, and adjudicators. And over the years, ALSINC itself has helped place APIIT Law School on international ADR map. We are proud that when international institutions and students think about negotiation, competition, and ADR activities in South Asia, ALSINC and APIIT Law School are increasingly part of that conversation. Our ambition is not simply to host a competition in Sri Lanka. Our ambition is to make Sri Lanka a destination for international legal education, negotiation, and dispute resolution. APIIT Law School has established itself as a leading provider of private sector legal education in Sri Lanka, offering international recognized law degrees in partnership with University of Staffordshire in the United Kingdom. But our ambition goes beyond awarding degrees. We want to produce lawyers who are ready for the world, lawyers who can work across borders, lawyers who can communicate across cultures, lawyers who can negotiate rather than merely argue, lawyers who can use technology, understand business, and appreciate the commercial realities behind legal disputes. And above all, lawyers who understand the law is ultimately about people, justice, and society. ALSINC is one of the ways in which we bring that vision to life. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate and commend the students who have worked tirelessly to make ALSINC 2026 possible. Organizing an international competition of this magnitude while managing academic commitment is no small achievement. To our student organizers, I want to say this. You have already demonstrated leadership, you have demonstrated teamwork, you have demonstrated resilience, and you have demonstrated that when students are given responsibilities, trust and opportunity, they can achieve extraordinary things. I'm particularly proud that ALSINC has been driven by our students themselves. This is their platform, this is their achievement, and this is their opportunity to demonstrate to the world what students of APIIT Law School can do. As we open ALSINC 2026, I also look forward to welcoming even more international teams' future editions. I hope that ALSINC will continue to expand beyond its present boundaries and become an even larger platform connecting students, universities, lawyers, academics, negotiators, and ADR professionals from across the world. Our doors are open. Our invitation is extended, and our vision is clear. To put Sri Lanka firmly on international map of negotiation and alternate dispute resolution while preparing our students to become the legal professional the future demands. Let me conclude with the word of Nelson Mandela. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. That in many ways capture the very essence of negotiation. We do not negotiate because we agree. We negotiate because we disagree. And yet we believe that understanding, dialogue, and cooperation can take us somewhere better. So to all our participating team, I wish you the very best. Negotiate with confidence, listen with purpose, think beyond winning, and above all, uphold the spirits of professionalism, respect, and fairness. May ALSINC 2026 be a celebration of talent, intellect, friendship, and international cooperation. May new partnerships be formed, new ideas be exchanged, new opportunities emerge. And of course, may the best team win. Thank you. I wish you all an inspiring, exciting, and unforgettable ALSINC 2026. Before I conclude, we have so many Indian teams participating physically in Sri Lanka. Good news is, Indian cricket team is doing really good in Sri Lanka these days. If you have time, you can go to SSC, not far away from here. You can watch that match as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
As ALSINC continues to grow and reach new heights, we are delighted to introduce something that makes a truly new chapter in our journey. For the very first time, we are creating a space that brings together our journey, our cases, our participants, and everything that makes ALSINC what it is. To officially unveil this exciting new chapter, please join me in welcoming the chairperson of ALSINC 2026, Prabhani Senanayaka.
Thank you, Ravon. Good morning, everyone. Every great journey leaves behind a story. For 6 years, ALSINC has been writing ours. Through every negotiation, every challenge, every conversation, and everyone who has been a part of this journey. And today, we are not simply adding another chapter, we are giving it a home. For the very first time, we are proud to launch the official website of ALSINC. More than just a website, it is a space where our past can be remembered, our present can be experienced, and the future of ALSINC can begin. It brings together the stories, cases, people, and moments that make ALSINC what it is. And as we mark this special milestone, it is my pleasure to invite the chairman of APIIT Sri Lanka, Mr. Bandula Igudage, the head of APIIT Law School, Dr. Chathuravarna Surya, along with the patron of MDMMS, Ms. Ravini Pereira, to join us for the official launch. And there it is, 6 years of ALSINC, now with a home of its own. Here's to the stories already written and the many more waiting to be told. Welcome to the new home of ALSINC. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhani. This marks an exciting new chapter for ALSINC, and I hope that everyone here will take some time to explore the website and scroll through all that it has to offer.
It is now my absolute pleasure to invite a very familiar and deeply respected face to the stage. His guidance has been a steady anchor for APIIT through every milestone, and having his support here today means a great deal to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming the chairman of APIIT Sri Lanka, Mr. Bandula Igudage, to address the gathering.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am supposed to deliver the corporate reception of this important event. Following the international protocols, I would like to request, because it's an international event, I would like to request all of you to stand up for a 1 minute to condole the Nepalese catastrophe. Just 30 seconds silence. Thank you. You may take your seats right now. Not only Nepalese, most number of victims are from India. So therefore, that's the international protocol when we are having a catastrophe to condole with everyone. Now I take the liberty to request all my Nepali colleagues to stand up for a second. I met them in the morning. I expressed our condolence personally. Just to say, my dear kids, friends, you are not alone. On behalf of APIIT, on behalf of all international teams, on behalf of all the participants, on behalf of all the officials, we pray for you a better future. You are not alone. So please convey our condolences to your country and your mates and your people. I know that all your families are safe. And for your information, Global SAARC presidency is held by your Nepali, Mr. Chandi Raj Dakal. We had that discussion. He's also deeply saddened. So from a SARC member, I wish to communicate that to your president as well. So have a good day. So sorry about your catastrophe. Thank you. Honorable Justice Yasantha Kodaguda, Honorable Judge of Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, Mr. Patrick McBillamy, the panelists who are here from USA, Dr. Divanshu Srivastava, the panelist from India who is here today, Mr. Param from India, third or fourth time you are with us, international teams, local participants, assessors, coaches, partners, all my APIIT colleagues, all head of schools, chief academic officer of APIIT, APIIT marketing team, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, of course my colleague Roshane Godege, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to welcome for this gathering and thank you for your presence. I need to talk about, probably I'm taking over from Chatura, yes, very technical on law. I'm not, so I'm trying to take little differentiation, not to repeat what you said, Chatura. You have a very comprehensive speech, but I'm trying to say something that I'm supposed to do in a very lighter scale. I'm not a lawyer. I'm very happy personally. This is the 6th edition. It means that you are ensuring the continuation. Something we start, it has to be continued in my belief. 6th year continuation is a very great, good journey. Very proud to say on behalf of our organization, we say, I don't want to say probably, because it is given Sri Lanka's first and only international negotiation competition. And one of the biggest in South Asia, we are very proud to say, sir. And this is truly international. 28 teams, large participation. Year by year, we are adding participation. Even if you really look at the audience, it is filled with international teams. Very inspired to see that from here. Thank you very much. 24 on-site, 4 online today. 22 international, 6 local. Truly international. So thank you very much. Taking it to the next level. I had to say a few things on our chief guest, Honorable Justice Yasantha Kodaguda. So it's a real privilege and fortunate to have you here. Really inspiration, not only for APIIT Law School, it is for the students, it is for your students, because you have been one of the seniors in this law fraternity. So these are the future lawyers in your area. Your presence will immensely important for all these law students, including international students. With your permission, sir, I will ask my students, along with the international student, if you have a time. This is a very rare opportunity. Honorable Justice has come to you, our doorstep and to your face. Whenever he has a free time, 1 or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you can interact with him. You can ask any question with your permission, sir. Because it's a great thing they will have in life, in their memories, oh, I met so and so in this program. So I'm allowing you to speak to them, him, whatever the way you want. I mean, if he is permitted, I think he is permitted, granted, so honor. For me, more than Honorable Justice Kodaguda, he is Yasantha in real life. Sorry, sir, I don't know whether I can say like that. Probably he has the right foundation. We all know his father. So it's the right foundation, he got it and his foundation is there. So one of the humble, down-to-earth personality we ever met. So I have to say thank you for keeping that level as it is, sir. It's a great inspiration for all of us. Understanding is when you go climb the corporate ladder, you have to be humble. So you are practicing that in reality, in the world. So thank you for doing that. Media friends also there. I've been asking little bit of shut down your cameras and mics, because with your permission I'm going to embarrass on little bit Honorable Justice Kodagoda. I want to start with some small story with 3 fathers and 4 daughters story. 15 years back, one father has 2 daughters, that is Yasara and Taruka. Another father has Lashani. Another father has daughter of Nipuni. They were in the same guiding camp. One father always talkative, talking probably nonsense. Other father is very calm and quiet, accountant, like, you know. Third father, no one knows, he was very peaceful approach, and he's there. Very first day, probably those fathers, when we were having chat, they went up to the discussion of Machan level, because all 4 daughters are there, having one camp. So we were talking, so the 3 fathers were talking. So later on we came to the finals of the competition. Then we got to know the most neutral father was a judge. That 3 fathers. So then the fathers were really embarrassed, you know. So because the way we started talking, like, you know, no, 3 fathers got together and machang, gai, those words are coming out. No, that's how we started. So other father, basically, when you realize that one person is a judge, we didn't say anything. The other father was basically starting a Your Honor. Your Honor. So we didn't know that you were a judge. So we were talking all nonsense. So sorry about it. It was immediately the father, he said, see, you keep it at the Singaling QA. Usaviye tiyaganna, so you keep it at the courts. But the most important thing, he said, I hope you will not meet at the court. So 3 fathers, one father happened to me, that's why I'm the talkative father. The other father is here, honorable judge here. So other one is one of our directors, he is there, so all our friends. So that's what I said, he's such a humble person. When you're talking nonsense, he never changed his face that I'm a, you know, respectable judge in Sri Lanka, never expressed. That's what I say, we have a living experience to prove that he's a humble person. He's not just saying that coming words out of my heart. This morning we had another fantastic discussion. So when Dr. Chatura asked, sir, why you change your journey from your fathers? So such a humble level he is talking. Actual thing, actually very hard. He doesn't have that brains for the benefit of the other local. He said his father was a very eminent, respected personality in Sri Lanka. He was a famous doctor, vice chancellor, academia, everything. We all respect. So Dr. Chatura, the head of law school, asked, why, sir, you change your journey to become a law professional? He said, I didn't have that much of a brain, maybe. So such a simple, humble. So with your permission, I am saying all these things. Please don't be put to the jail. So saying this, that with your permission, I am saying. So thank you very much. Such a humble, nice personality be with us. It's a great opportunity to be having here. Again, it's my duty, sir, to make the corporate appreciation for my own people. Dr. Chatura Varnasuriya, you are a pillar of strength. For all these things, silent leadership, we really appreciate. Ravini, you are taking a bigger hand, even though you are little elder to the students, but you are taking a very matured role of control. I mean, not controlling, supporting all the youngsters and bringing international people here is a great thing. Thank you, Ravini, for all these things. APIIT believes on student strengths, as Chatura said. This entire thing is handled by students. President Prabhani and Akindu Patirage, those are the 2 guys who work behind the screen along with all student leaders. Can I show your faces? Akindu Prabhani, we saw where the committee? So where the committee? Please stand up with the committee guys. Who is here, I know others are outside. Nobody? Oh, committee people downside. I think to respect them, give them a big applause. So. Future student leaders creating from APIIT. Thank you very much, guys. 4 days to go. I will again explain whether I'm satisfied or not. 4 days later. Too early to say, but you are brilliant. You are brilliant. I think I got you a little time. So thank you for patience hearing. All the dignitaries, thank you for spending Poya Day with us. Thank you for your important presence here. And also, there's a panel discussion, so we can hear many things from all distinguished guests. Thank you very much for the patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This grand event is the result of the unwavering dedication and the tireless efforts of a truly remarkable team. They have meticulously shaped every dimension of this forum from behind the scenes. Keeping this in mind, I kindly request you to direct your attention to the screen as we introduce the Organizing Committee of ALSINC 2026.
To the down keepers, the sun slappers, the self-soilers, the harmony ushers. Even if you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night.
Sir, flex I do work six up like Mike. He's out of sight. Whoa, they got me pipe. 2 man like Ike. 6 at the spot.
Shaking the drop, I'm still up on top. I've been at the bop. The devil my op, can't pay me to stop. My God at the top. We gon' praise our way out the grave, dog. Living, speaking, praise God. Walking out the graveyard, back to life. I serve, follow your word.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my absolute honor and privilege to introduce our chief guest, His Lordship, Honorable Justice Jasantha Kodagoda, President's Counsel, Justice of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka. His Lordship, Honorable Justice Jasantha Kodagoda, began his eminent legal journey at the Sri Lanka Law College, taking his oaths as an attorney at law in 1988. He holds a master's degree with merit in public international law from University College London, alongside a diploma in forensic medicine and sciences. Over his distinguished career, he has developed a profound specialization in constitutional law, criminal justice, and public law. In 1989, His Lordship joined the Attorney General's Department, dedicating 3 decades of invaluable service to the state, culminating in his appointment as Additional Solicitor General and the prestigious Silk of President's Counsel in 2015. In 2019, he was elevated to the judiciary as the President of the Court of Appeal, and within a year was appointed as a Judge of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka. Demonstrating the highest tier of judicial leadership, His Lordship has served as the Acting Chief Justice of our country and was recently appointed as a member of the Judicial Service Commission. He stands today as the senior-most judge of the Supreme Court. Beyond his judicial milestones, His Lordship has dedicated his life to advocacy and fostering meaningful dialogue. He is recognized as a widely published scholar and presenter on alternative dispute resolution methodologies, including negotiation and mediation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is this extraordinary legacy of legal mastery, academic depth, and unwavering public service that anchors our forum today. With the highest regard and the utmost respect, may I now request His Lordship, Honorable Justice Jasanta Kodagoda, President's Counsel, Justice of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, to kindly grace the stage and deliver a few words on the topic of mechanisms for dispute resolution with special emphasis on negotiation.
The chairman of APIIT Sri Lanka, the head of the APIIT Law School, the patron of this competition, esteemed resource persons, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be your chief guest this morning at the inauguration of the 6th edition of this very important competition. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in an era where not only in Sri Lanka, but in other countries as well, our courts are inundated with cases filed. So much so, in all our countries, the issue of courts being clogged with cases and the delay in the administration of justice has become national issues warranting intervention at multiple levels of governance. It has drawn the attention of not only the leadership of the country and the leadership of the judiciary, it has become a national issue that has attracted the attention of the masses as well. Those of us who have studied this problem over a long period of time know quite acutely some of the pressing causes. One such cause which has become a perennial issue is that we as legal professionals show a knee-jerk reaction in choosing litigation over other means of dispute resolution. It stems from our legal education, where we have seen litigation leading towards judicial adjudication of disputes to be the apex and most efficacious form of dispute resolution. And therefore, our generation of legal professionals, as well as the academia, are partly responsible for this problem. And that is because we have seen dispute resolution mechanisms such as negotiation, mediation, conciliation, contractual adjudication, and arbitration as mere alternatives to the apex form of dispute resolution, and that means judicial adjudication. Evidence show otherwise. Evidence show, as well as user satisfaction surveys, reveal that negotiation, mediation, conciliation, contractual adjudication, and arbitration are certainly not, I repeat, not weak alternatives to judicial adjudication. They are as efficacious or possibly more beneficial to disputants in comparison with what happens in court of law. Indeed, there are certain disputes, and particularly complex commercial disputes as well as disputes arising out of criminality that can only be resolved through adjudication, judicial adjudication. Be that as it may, good 90% of disputes encountered by individuals, organizations, and corporate entities are disputes that can be efficaciously resolved through alternate means of dispute resolution, rather calling it the label of appropriate forms of dispute resolution. In that regard, I am extremely pleased that the APIIT Law School of Sri Lanka, a premier tertiary educational institution of the private sector, has chosen the mandate of propagating negotiation as a means of dispute resolution, and towards that goal, choosing to conduct this international competition. When time permits, during the panel discussion, I will go into certain technical aspects pertaining to negotiation. Be that as it may, let me draw your attention to another facet of dispute resolution using negotiation. Often, our entire discourse is regarding resolving disputes through negotiation. I believe we thereby overlook an equally or more important use of negotiation, and that being negotiation as a form of reaching agreement on commercial contracts and various other forms of agreements. Negotiation is a very effective tool to reach agreement on the formation of contracts, agreements, understandings. And therefore, this same skill of using negotiation to resolve disputes can be used very importantly for the formation of reaching agreement on commercial contracts and various other enforceable forms of agreement. And I think in future editions of this international competition, you might choose that sector as well, using negotiation as a means of reaching agreement, something that is absolutely important for national and economic development. Having said those few words, I wish to congratulate all of you participating on site as well as online for having ventured into this competition, and I wish to wish all of you all the very best at this competition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Lordship, for those insightful words. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen as we are now about to hear from Senior Lecturer, Academic Link Tutor for the Law at University of Staffordshire, Mr. Aidan Flynn.
Greetings from the UK. My name is Aidan Flynn. I am the Academic Link Tutor for Law. I wish everyone involved in the 6th edition of the APIIT Law School International Negotiation Competition 2026 the best of good luck. It is good news that the competition continues to go from strength to strength, and it is a nice milestone now after the celebration of APIIT's 25th anniversary to have this esteemed competition reach its 6th edition. Good news for APIIT is, of course, good news for ourselves here at University of Staffordshire. As partner institutions, good news for one partner is also good news for another partner. And I will briefly share some good news hot off the press from the UK. The August conclusions of the nationwide National Student Survey, NSS, of all higher education students in UK institutions has shown that University of Staffordshire, for the subject law, has moved into 7th position, ranked 7th in the UK for law schools under the 2026 NSS National Student Survey. That is a survey that has been conducted since the year 2005 of all higher education students in the UK, and it is considered very important and reputable. So that is great news, not just for University of Staffordshire, but for our partner institutions, including our only institution for law as a partner, and that is APIIT Sri Lanka. And finally, we also received the good news last week that University of Staffordshire has been named as the Modern University of the Year in the Daily Mail University Guide 2027. So another piece of excellent news on which I will conclude. Best wishes to all involved, organisers, contestants, observers. I'm with you in spirit, and I hope to see many of you in person soon on another occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn.
As we continue to celebrate the spirit of excellence and collaboration, it is essential to acknowledge and extend our deepest gratitude to the partners and sponsors of ALSINC 2026. Main event sponsor, APIIT Sri Lanka. Official collaboration partner, the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. Official educational partner, Vega Negotiation Institute. Official knowledge partners, International Mediation Campus. You Decide. And the Institute for the Development of Commercial Law and Practice.
Official media partner, Live Peak. Official photography partner, Yasansha Edrisinghe Photography. Official printing partner, Methuli Premium. Official transport partner, Fit Cabs. Official gift partner, Jeff T. Official telecommunications partner, SLT Mobitel.
it is now time to hear from our international assessors who will be joining us virtually. Please direct your attention to the screen to hear from Mr. Ian Ridgeton, Director of the International Mediation Campus of Germany.
From the International Mediation Campus. I had the huge pleasure of taking part in ALSINC 2025 as one of the adjudicators. This year, unfortunately, I won't be there with you, but in 2026, I wish all of the participants and everybody who's taking part in the competition the very best of luck. It is a superb event. It's the 6th year that ALSINC has been going. It's a very, very impressively organised, impressively moderated competition. And the participants are absolutely first class, as well as the adjudicators. So I really encourage you to enjoy every moment of it. It's one of those things at the end of the competition, you have huge memories, you make many friends, your network increases considerably, and it's a huge privilege to be part of it. So the very best of luck to all of you. Good luck, ALSINC 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ridgeton. Up next is Mr. Roa Tanwega, founder and CEO of the Vega Negotiation Institute of Norway.
Dear participants, organizers, coaches, and members of the ALSINC community, it is a genuine pleasure to welcome you to ALSINC 2026. For the sixth consecutive year, Vega Negotiation Institute is proud to support this competition. I am deeply grateful to the organizing committee for their commitment, energy, and care they invest in creating this opportunity for lawyers and negotiators of tomorrow. ALSINC is much more than a competition. It is an intensive learning environment where knowledge, preparation, feedback, teamwork, and practical experience come together. During the competition, you will be challenged to listen carefully, think strategically, manage uncertainty, communicate clearly, and work constructively with people whose interests and perspectives may be very different from your own. The learning curve can and will be steep, but it's also where the value lies. One student, reflecting after an international negotiation competition, described the experience like this to me. She said, "The negotiation training and competition itself resulted in a very steep learning curve. The whole experience gave me so many new insights, valuable learnings, and also new friends along the way." I believe this captures something important. You may remember the results and rankings, but the lasting value will often be found in the skills you develop, the feedback you receive, the people you meet, and the confidence you gain from facing challenging or difficult situations and discovering how you can handle them. Negotiation is more than reaching an agreement. It is the ability to listen with genuine curiosity, understand perspectives different from your own, and create progress when the path forward is uncertain. As you enter each round, be ambitious about the outcome, but equally thoughtful about the process dimension and the relationship dimension you are shaping. Approach the experience with courage, empathy, curiosity, and an open mind. Support your teammates, learn from your counterparts, listen carefully to the assessors. Use every round not only to demonstrate what you already know, but to discover what you can still become. I wish all of you every success, enjoy the challenge, trust the learning process, and use this opportunity to become the kind of negotiator and the kind of lawyer the future needs.
Thank you, Mr. Vega. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to invite the co-chairperson of ALSINC 2026, Akindu Pathirage, to read out the rules and regulations of the competition.
Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, to all our participating teams and assessors, after months of communicating and getting to know one another online, it is an absolute delight to finally have the opportunity to meet you all in person. Together, let us make this the best edition of ALSINC yet. I hope you have all enjoyed our opening ceremony thus far, and as we come towards the conclusion of this opening ceremony, I would like to take a few minutes to go through some of the important rules and regulations governing ALSINC 2026. By now, all participants are required to have fully familiarized themselves with the extended rules and regulations of ALSINC 2026 circulated by the organizing committee. The points I will be highlighting are important reminders, but this briefing does not replace the full extended rules and regulations, which every participant is expected to know and understand. Firstly, ALSINC 2026 shall consist of 5 competition rounds. Each team will participate in 2 preliminary rounds, with the allocation of teams and matchups carried out by the organizing committee at a random basis. The 8 teams with the highest scores in the preliminary rounds will advance to the quarterfinals. The 4 winning teams of the quarterfinals will advance to the semifinals, and the 2 winning teams of the semifinals will be advancing to the grand final. Each competition round will have a total duration of 180 minutes, comprising of 60 minutes of preparation time after the confidential information release, 75 minutes for the negotiation session, 15 minutes for scoring, and 15 minutes for assessor feedback. Responsibility for timekeeping during the negotiation session rests with the negotiation supervisors from the organizing committee. The decision of the session supervisors regarding timekeeping shall be conclusive and final. Please ensure that you are mindful of the time allocated during each stage of the round. There will be at least 2 assessors for the preliminary rounds and 2 or more assessors for the knockout rounds. The judging criteria will be applied to the performances of both the client and counsel of the negotiating teams. We would also like to emphasize that there is no requirement for a team to reach a resolution or a settlement. Reaching a settlement is not in itself a requirement or a basis for additional credit. Each assessor will provide feedback to the competing teams following the negotiation round. The assessment and feedback process will be conducted within the time allocated under the rules. The feedback provided by an assessor or any response by the team to that feedback will not affect the team's overall score. Assessors will also not disclose individual performance results, overall team scores, or the performances or scores of other teams. Where an assessor imposes a penalty on a team, the assessor will inform the team of the penalty and the relevant rule that has been violated. The decision of the assessor in this regard will be conclusive and final. During the negotiation session, teams may use materials supplied by the organizing committee as well as their personal notes and other permitted printed or drafted materials. Each team may also bring one single-sided A4 or a letter size sheet along with their negotiation strategies or its equivalent to share with the opposing teams and the expert assessors of that round. For online sessions, teams must use a laptop or PC to connect to the negotiation session using the provided Zoom link. And during the preparation time, teams may communicate with their teammates and coaches using any mode of communication, and the use of the internet is permitted. However, Once the negotiation session begins, the use of electronic devices, including mobile phones, tablets, smartphones, or similar devices, is strictly prohibited. The use of a calculator and analog watch is, however, permitted during the rounds. No person may provide advice, assistance, or instructions, or communicate or attempt to communicate with participants from a competing team during the negotiation session. For online sessions, the Zoom link provided to the team must not be shared with anyone outside the negotiating team except for the team coach. Any violation of these provisions may result in the disqualification of the entire team from the competition. With regards to the confidential information for each round will be provided 60 minutes prior to the commencement of the round. For on-site teams, this will be provided in person, whereas for the virtual rounds, the preparation period may take place online after the confidential information is emailed to the teams at the given time period. Coaches are permitted to assist the teams during the preparation period, whether online or offline. However, the confidential information provided to the participants must remain strictly confidential and must not be shared with any person under any circumstances outside the team. If the assessors determine that the confidential information has been disclosed in breach of the rules, the team may be subject to a deduction of marks or disqualification. As per the facts of the negotiation problems, the problems that have been provided for the competition are self-contained and contain all relevant facts. Teams are therefore strictly prohibited from deviating from the facts provided, creating their own background story in a manner that contradicts with the general or confidential information, misrepresenting facts, creating new facts, or denying facts contained in their confidential information. Please ensure that all arguments and negotiations remain within the factual framework provided in the case materials. Finally, all participants are reminded to maintain the highest standards of professionalism, cultural integrity, and respect throughout the competition. In particular, everyone that is expected to remain vigilant in avoiding anything, including comments, conduct that may be perceived as inappropriate or insensitive to differences in culture, gender, age, national origin, race, religion, or ethnicity. ALSINC is a platform that brings together participants from different countries and backgrounds, and we expect everyone to contribute towards a respectful and inclusive competition environment. With that, I would now like to briefly address the regulations applicable to our official competition and accommodation venue, the Academy of Commercial Credit and Finance PLC. Please remember that the Academy is a professional training center rather than a conventional hotel or event venue. We are therefore guests of this institution, and all participants and assessors, including those who are only attending the competition rounds and are not staying overnight at the competition venue, are required to comply with its rules. Firstly, the possession, consumption, or distribution of alcohol, cigarettes, betel leaf, or any type of drugs is strictly prohibited within the premises. Under the venue's policy, anyone returning to the property under the influence of alcohol or drugs will not be permitted to enter the premises. We therefore kindly ask everyone to ensure that this rule is respected both within the venue and when returning to the venue. Participants are also required to respect all Academy staff members and follow their instructions, avoid disrupting any training programs or negotiation rounds that will be taking place from tomorrow, maintain the cleanliness of the premises, your rooms, and the surrounding areas, take proper care of all Academy property, equipment, and the facilities, and also to refrain from offering tips to the Academy staff. Please ensure that appropriate footwear is worn when using the play area, as the flooring has been constructed with sharp plastic mesh in accordance with the international standards. Please note that after 10 p.m., visitors are not permitted to wander around the Academy, remain outside the property, or mingle, or to use phones in common areas. We kindly request everyone to return to their accommodation rooms by 10 p.m. and respect the venue's quiet hours after this time. Finally, the Academy has full discretion to address any violation of its regulations. We therefore sincerely ask everyone to take these regulations seriously and to treat the Academy, its staff, facilities, and the surrounding environment with the respect that they deserve. Tomorrow, the preparation ends and the real negotiations begin. You have all traveled far and wide from different places, different countries, prepared extensively, and earned your place here. We hope that over the next few days, you will not only compete, but also learn from one another, build new connections, and enjoy everything that ALSINC has to offer. Negotiate with confidence, compete with integrity, and most importantly, enjoy the experience. We wish you a very good afternoon ahead and welcome once again to ALSINC 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Akindu.
And with that, we have concluded our official proceedings. We would like to kindly remind all of our participants that the panel discussion will take place at 12:10 p.m. Please join us in the lobby area where refreshments are now being served.
Check, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2, check. Check. Check, check, check. Check. Check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2, check. Testing 1, check, 1, 2, check, 1, 2.
policy dialogue, and legal education. My request to all of you to join us. I hope everything's comfortable. So just to start things with proceedings, I'll start off and get back into business really fast with time consideration. To begin with proceedings, I would like to start with a question directed towards the three panelists to help us understand the broader picture of negotiation. So when we talk about negotiating in crisis, what makes decision-making under pressure fundamentally different from decision-making in ordinary circumstances? His Lordship, Justice Yasantha Kodagoda, I beg your pardon. From a judicial perspective, would you care to extend your thoughts on this?
Ladies and gentlemen, in order to describe this theme, I would like to take you 20 years down the road. This is an era where the government of Sri Lanka was responding to terrorism through military means and had fought that particular armed conflict very rigorously against a terrorist organization that had evolved into a territorial armed force holding a portion of the country. The armed conflict had raged for 2 decades by that time. Neither party had achieved their military goals. It was a hurting stalemate. Particularly in the aftermath of 9/11 of New York, there was considerable pressure on both parties to sit at a negotiating table and reach a negotiated settlement. There was a third party, and that being the Royal Norwegian government, that was ready to provide facilitatory services to facilitate the conduct of an negotiation between the government of Sri Lanka and the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Nadu. The country was economically down, so the country had faced a hurting stalemate. It is in that backdrop that the Royal Norwegian government was successful in bringing the two parties to a negotiating table. They refused initially to meet face to face, and therefore the Royal Norwegian government had to engage in shuttle diplomacy while the two parties remained in 2 different locations. However, after several rounds of shuttle diplomacy, where the Royal Norwegian government's facilitators, in fact, facilitated successfully the two parties to meet in neutral territory and commence a negotiation. That in real life is negotiating in a crisis situation under pressure. It converts the dynamics of a negotiation to an intense yet peaceful dialogue. that the negotiation was not successful and parties failed to reach a negotiated settlement is a different matter. But I think that episode of Sri Lanka helps us to understand the multifaceted dynamics of a complex negotiation. Over to you.
Thank you, Your Lordship. With regards to an international perspective, Mr. McPhilmy, as an individual who has years of experience in mediation, I would be interested to hear how this manifests itself at a negotiation table itself.
So I concur with the astute remarks that Your Lordship has shared with us. The dynamic is different, but I think that you'll see a lot of similarities in mediation and in negotiation. Negotiation is an integral part of the mediation. I think one of the advantages of the mediation is having a third-party neutral who's experienced and who can help to dial down the emotions in a crisis situation. There's a temptation to panic or even to be brought into the gravitational emotions of let's say, a perpetrator or a group of terrorists. But I think experience has shown, particularly in the United States, for example, in the Waco crisis, where the FBI employed traditional tactical maneuvers, and the whole situation turned into a debacle. Subsequent, I think thinking had changed. Law enforcement, crisis negotiators realized that negotiation was the way to go. As you said at the outset of the opening ceremony, every negotiation begins with a conversation. So you start with a conversation, you attempt to build rapport, you try to establish trust, gain credibility, and then ascertain what really are the underlying needs, what is driving the emotional content, and to try to slow down the situation, to dial it down, to move it down the behavioral ladder to a understanding, to a more manageable situation, and to eventually cause the adrenaline to dissipate and to move the conversation from the amygdala, or the fight or flight part of the brain, to the higher reasoning, the prefrontal cortex, so that you get people talking into a problem-solving type of mode. And the hope is to try to understand needs, wants, concerns, and to eventually obtain a resolution, a peaceful resolution.
Thank you, sir. Following the same flow of conversation of decision-making under pressure, from an academic and training perspective, how do you think, Professor, these pressures affect the way negotiators actually approach a problem?
So I guess I totally agree with when the Lordship has rightly pointed out that in the cases of crisis, it's not merely, and as he rightly pointed out, that the negotiation might have been failed, but we cannot deny the fact that the process that it laid down was something which was very beneficial, that even today, after so many days of that we are still recognizing it. So when we see, it's more of like how the crisis or the situation of the impact that the pressure or other things is building up. It's more of that how we look on the process itself. We can take that, as we rightly say, that we need to practice the patience. So it's exactly that how that pressure is actually arising. I'll also like to say that we need to see, and something that we have studied from various other domains of law, that the dark patterns, like, is it the real case of an urgency, or it is about a fake or an artificial urgency that has been created for the purpose of leading to the settlement. I would also like to quote how Akindu said rightly at the rules, that it's not that the negotiation need to be leading to a result that would give you an extra point. It's about the process. So we need to identify whether it's a fake urgency to be created just to divert the attention and to think on the settlement or the solution side of it? Or is it about the process? Many a times it's not about the settlement, it is about the resolution. And that exactly lays the basis when it comes to the negotiating skill that we need to seek on. So process much more important rather than reaching out to a settlement, and that too creating by an urgency or a crisis. Because when we see a crisis situation, everybody, whether it's a situation which the Lordship rightly mentioned, that at that particular point it was about that the dispute shall be resolved on all the causes. Is it creating that the process shall be hampered? As a good negotiator, it is always about the process should be respected over the settlement, is what I would like to contribute on.
Can I come back to you on that? Particularly in a crisis situation, I think it is of critical importance that we identify a core feature of negotiation. What is that core feature? Parties assume to themselves certain stands which we can refer to as positions. So in that real life example that I cited, the position of the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam was that they want a separate sovereign state in the northern and the eastern parts of this country. The position of the government of Sri Lanka was that it insists in retaining the unitary character of the state. Those were the two divergent, diametrically opposed positions. One unitary state versus two independent states. Now that is not negotiable. Within the framework of a single sovereign country, there cannot be two independent states. And therefore, what were the means by which this could be converted into a negotiable dispute? How it could be converted into a negotiable dispute is by understanding and also appreciating the underlying interests sought to be protected by the two disputants. And for that, the important question to ask yourself as well as ask discreetly from the other side. Discreetly means without communication, is why is it that the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam would want a separate state? What are the interests they seek to protect? Similarly, the government of Sri Lanka needs to understand why is it that the government wishes to retain a unitary state? Thereby, what are the interests that are sought to be protected? Positions can hardly be negotiated, but interests can be negotiated, hopefully achieving a negotiated outcome. So converting the dispute of positions into a dispute of interests, I think, is the challenging task of every negotiator.
Rightly said by your Lordship. I think that gives a very useful foundation for us, showing that the interest is the main concern for what makes a crisis different. Directing this question towards His Lordship Justice Yasantha Kodagoda again, from a judicial perspective, how does the decision making under pressure and a timely taken decision differ?
If you can repeat your question,
how does
please.
the decision, from a judicial perspective, how does the decision making under pressure differ from a decision making where there is time for careful deliberation?
So naturally, if you are under pressure of time, there has to be expeditious understanding of the underlying disputes there has to be expeditious preparation of your hierarchy of interests vis-a-vis what you believe to be the opposing party's hierarchy of interests. There has to be expeditious understanding of interests lower down in your hierarchy that you are ready to sacrifice for the purpose of bargaining with the other side. You must expeditiously understand the type of interests the opposing party are likely to be ready to sacrifice and let go. So the entire thing gets on to an accelerated mode if you are in a crisis situation.
Certainly, Your Lordship. With regards to the pressure we experience, it comes from circumstances themselves, and sometimes it comes from our own fear or our own emotions. Mr. McPhillamy, during a crisis, how can a negotiator tell the difference between a genuine risk and a decision driven by fear or emotion?
I think Churchill said it best. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. And fear sometimes is the whole thing. It's the fire. And I think a paradigm shift, the way we look at it, approaching it in an expeditious manner, but also calmly, and to have a clear head to quickly ascertain what are the interests, what are the most important interests, what interests can be traded, and without really sacrificing your core beliefs or your core interests. So I think it's imperative. Time is truly of the essence in a crisis situation. On the other hand, too, you want to dial down the emotion, use time to your advantage, use it to dissipate adrenaline, to bring people down to an intellectual discussion rather than fueled by fear or hatred. They say there are really only two emotions, love and hate, or love and fear. So it's really critical, I think, desideratum to create the conditions for a paradigm shift.
Certainly, sir. Sometimes it's not the fear that is created by the crisis itself. Sometimes it's created by the opposing party. Professor Devanshu, how do you deal with an opposing party who deliberately creates a sense of urgency by saying, for example, that an offer is only available for limited time? Is urgency itself a legitimate negotiation tactic?
I would, as I stated in the starting as well, that we need to focus on the fact that whether the urgency is the natural urgency, looking at the commercials, looking at the time frames, looking at the subject matter of the dispute, or it is something that is the fake urgency or the artificial urgency. And I'll just not only address the problem, but rather provide a solution. Many a times it is also a rage baiting by the other parties just to focus on the settlement and not on the process. As negotiators, I would generally say or take a brief pause and ask a posing question. And that question would be, before I take this thing to my party, can you just help me to understand what would be the consequences if I take this offer and if I don't take this offer? And if it is a situation of a fake urgency being created or manipulated, the obvious answer for the first would be there. But there would be no answer for what if this isn't taken. And the settlements, the disputes that is on the table would always read, and I'll again quote the justice when he said that it is about the addressing of the interest. And interest can be changed. It can be altered through communications. In the negotiation itself, when I'm creating no, and this I guess we all see, and I'll just try to highlight everybody, this offer ends in 2 hours. Book it, or that is what your offer fades away. That's exactly the situation in a negotiation of a fake urgency. We all know that in that 2 hours, nothing is going to change. The world is not going to become flat. The only thing is that we can respect the process and answer that particular 2 questions again. What if this is done? and what will be the consequences if not done. To address whether it's a fake urgency or it's a natural urgency looking at the subject matter, we can get an answer to both. If we get an answer only to one, I'm sorry, that is a fake urgency that is being created onto.
Adding on to that, just to lay a common question upon the table, from a competition's perspective, urgency is sometimes used as a tactic. It's out there. How is it supposed to be proceeded with, and how is it to be used in a competition perspective?
Well, I think the starting point for all competitors is to understand that a negotiating competition is vastly different from real life situations. And I think you need to go out there to the competition table, keeping that in mind. What you're likely to encounter is a prepared script, both from your side as well as from the opposing side. It is going to be theoretical as opposed to real. Urgency can be made up as part of the script. Arrogance and stubbornness can also be made up as part of the script, as opposed to very, very genuine and natural human emotions. Another thing that you need to keep in mind in real negotiations is that disputants are likely to come up to the table for varying reasons. And one can be merely to buy over time until you regroup and become sufficiently strong to engage in a unilateral battle. Now, that type of strategy is unlikely to be seen in a competition. In real life situations, there can be fraudulent intent that drives a disputant to get to the negotiating table. Once again, that is unlikely to appear in a negotiation competition. So I repeat the starting point, and that is to be acutely conscious of the fact that what you are going to encounter during the coming 3 days is going to be vastly different from real life situations, where either you yourself is a disputant or you're going to be the legal representative to a disputing party. Having said that, I would think that developing the skill of negotiation is extremely important, even from a theoretical perspective. It is extremely important because when you get out to society as legal professionals, you're likely to get instructed to enter into direct negotiations for the formation of contracts. You're likely to get instructed to represent your client at a negotiating table for the purpose of reaching settlement. You're likely to engage daily in negotiation in the shadows of court, while a different process, namely litigation, is already taking place. You're likely to day in, day out engage in negotiations with your opposing counsel in the shadows of court. You're likely to get prompted by judges to negotiate with the opposing party during the adjournment. And therefore, I think developing the theoretical skills of negotiation is extremely important.
Certainly, Your Lordship. Extremely sorry for shooting question after question, but with solely the intention of going for knowledge. When there is no ideal outcome, how should a negotiator decide which option is the least damaging? The Lordship, particularly in situations where every available option carries some form of risk, what should guide that decision?
So famously it is referred to as BATNA. BATNA, better alternative to a negotiated agreement, BATNA. Throughout the process, from the very beginning up to the very end, you keep on applying that formula. From the perspective of your client's interests, what is better? To walk out of the table or to remain at the negotiating table, sacrificing some of the less important interests of your client. So it's a dynamic that operates in the mind of the professional negotiator right from the word go up to the tail end. You're free. This is a voluntary exercise. This is an exercise where both you and your client have total autonomy to unilaterally decide. It is an exercise where you will remain at the table only for the purpose of securing a better outcome. You will walk out immediately. No sooner you sense that walking out is more profitable than remaining in.
Certainly, Your Lordship. Taking a small deroute from the competition's formation and going into the mediation's role, as a well-experienced individual in this field, Mr. McAfee, when parties disagree strongly about the facts, how does a mediator decide when to move away from determining who is right and focus on finding a practical solution for both the parties present?
Well, I think Your Lordship nailed it. You definitely have to have a structure. Your BATNA should always be in mind. WATNA, the worst alternative to a negotiated agreement. What is your ZOPA? What is a zone of possible agreement? What are your deliverables? What can you walk away from? And what is your walk away? I think as a mediator, we have to be cognizant that we are not an adjudicator. We're not a trier of fact. And a lot of times the facts can get in the way of a good resolution. I've seen situations where one side clearly has the upper hand, or the facts are more favorable to their position or their interests. But I think a skilled negotiator or a skilled mediator can facilitate the conversation so that your attention is really diverted from the facts or just a simple just factual analysis to what's really maybe what's right or wrong or what's really in the best interest of the parties. Do you want certainty or do you want the risk of a trial? Do you want to be able to enjoy self-determination, to fashion your own remedy, to create your own outcome, to preserve a relationship that may be more important really than winning or losing? So I think it's easy to get bogged down in the facts, but as mediators, I think that's not the sole focus, and it's often helpful to move from the facts, even the law. And I've seen situations where maybe the statute had expired, where a person clearly would be out of court or they would lose on summary judgment or a trial. But talking about what's the right thing to do, you know, what can preserve the relationship. And a lot of times you move beyond the facts, beyond the law, and work out something that's equitable, that's really just.
Indeed, sir. When going into further depth of what we have discussed here on this table, Professor Devanshu, perhaps you can confirm on the doubt that can a quick settlement sometimes be considered a failure of negotiation if the underlying problem has not actually been resolved?
I totally agree with that, and I'll again quote both of them when they have rightly been pointed out, where the interest does matter. Many a times, and I'll put it this way, that it is also about the sustainability. It's not about, and again, re-altering what has been said in the morning as the rules, that this is not a competition where a winning is the ultimate winning. Many a times the settlement might not be there, but the disputes can be resolved. And what I meant by sustainability was very clear. Many a times it is not about reaching to a solution, just merely to end it. Rather, leading to a settlement so that future problems do not arise. Negotiation is not about solving this, whether 2 + 2 is 4 out here or not. It's much beyond it. It's much beyond that the future disputes may not arise. And if in that particular situation, the party's interest can be taken back by taking a step back, and that can preserve the overall relationship as what he rightly mentioned. Similarly to what the Honorable Justice rightly said, that even when I'm walking out, it should not be about the settlement of the issue which has been raised, but it is also about the interest of my party and the interest of the party in the rooms. So that it is not merely that this solution ends, but it preserves the relationship. It preserves so that no future, it can be that this problem which is on the table on the negotiation side can be decided with one party and the other. But is it an answer that the future problems may not arise, and would these sessions be continuing? On the alternative, the better solution would be on this negotiation table that we enter into such a common agreement, a mutually benefited one, emphasis on the term mutually benefited, that not only this problem gets a solution, but the future no problem arises. I'm not saying that the problem should arise and then again the similar negotiation table sits and sits. It's not that prolonged thing. So at times, to answer you, it's exactly the point that how the solution to this particular problem, keeping in mind the wider ambit that the sustainability of the relationship comes into place between the disputants, so that no future problem arises, forgetting upon getting on the negotiation table itself.
Again, derouting from the realistic point of view to a competition perspective, myself guilty of being a negotiator, I tend to go towards that quick solution. How do you manifest the position of taking intentions over a quick settlement? How do you manifest that? How do you practice that?
So I guess before both of them comes on to, the only thing I guess is, again, read the rules. Your rules or any international negotiating rules. I'll just borrow the line which, and I totally agree when Justice said that the competitions and the real life negotiations, they are far way too different. Scripts, yes. Problems, yes. That's why they're called as mock problems and not the real world problems. They might be deriving out of it. But what remains, and if all my young legal minds out here, if they focus on one particular aspect, that the process is much more important than the solution. I guess we are, and we all have to respect that. Whether it's a competition, your competition rules categorically clearly mentions if we reach out to a solution or if we do not reach out to a solution, the extra mark is not there. This exactly holds true with the major negotiation tournaments or the competitions happening. What we are assessing as assessors, what the competition assesses, is how much you value the process. Process with ethics. And that is exactly the problem, that the solution per se won't give you a 20 on a 20. But following the process, respecting the process, and assessment as a negotiator would definitely give you a 20 on 20. And then over to the panel if they have something.
So if you look at it from the perspective of the single most important skill that you need to develop, I would think the single most important skill to be developed is to understand the dispute, identify your positions vis-a-vis the positions the opposing party is likely to assume, and then proceed to understand the underlying interests you're seeking to protect by assuming those positions, and also equally understand the underlying interests the opposing party is seeking to protect by taking up those opposing positions, and then prepare the hierarchy of interests, starting from the most important to the least important. Having done that, for the purpose of striking a deal, if I can use that word, reaching settlement, predict the least important interest the opposing party is likely to have in his list that he will be ready to sacrifice for the purpose of reaching agreement. Those, I think, are the skills that you need to develop to participate in the competition, as well as, more importantly, to participate in negotiations in real life.
Certainly, Your Lordship, with the notes that I have taken, bringing this discussion closer to the role of a legal practitioner. Your Lordship, from a legal practitioner's perspective, how do you balance giving objective advice with clients' desires to take an aggressive approach during a higher pressure negotiation?
So the core ethic governing legal advice is to always serve the best interest of your client. Your client has a grievance. The grievance may take the form or manifestation of a dispute. He wants the dispute resolved. You need to decide and advise him on the most appropriate, most beneficial tool to be used to resolve the dispute. Ideally, you start with negotiation. Ideally. There may be certain factors that will operate against choosing negotiation. That may be the case. Particularly if there is extreme criminality involved, or if it is so apparent that the opposing party is not acting in good faith and is merely wanting to buy over time, you may have to deviate from that stepping stone towards dispute resolution. The stepping stone being negotiation. There may be other reasons as well, but ideally, what appears to be in the best interest of the client is to always, and I say always, start off with an attempt at resolving the dispute through negotiation.
Following the possible situations that were mentioned, there's also the possibility of being silent in courts. Likewise, what role can silence play in crisis negotiation? Before dispute reaches court, can choosing not to respond immediately give a negotiator a strategic advantage? This question is directed to Mr. McPhillips.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. It is, in fact, a power technique to remain silent and to say a paucity of verbiage. Don't fuel the fire, don't add fuel to the fire is another cliche, but there's a reason it's a cliche. It's really true. And it gives a chance for the parties to settle down a little bit and to listen and to communicate. Listening is really the paramount. And in order to understanding and active listening, understanding, and communication, they sort of go all hand in hand. So I think strategic pause is very, very important. It's used in crisis negotiations. The idea, sometimes you'll see mirroring or emotional labeling, and then trying to elicit a response from maybe a terrorist or some other similar type of person. And the idea is to get them, again, away from the amygdala back into the prefrontal cortex, into the higher reasoning, get them talking. And talking gives you a chance for a better understanding and to ascertain really what's driving the conversation, what's behind the emotions, what are the underlying interests, what are their concerns, what are the needs, and then to develop a strategy, a plan, analysis for addressing them in a manner that also promotes your interests. And it could be safety, which is obviously paramount in a hostage situation or in a crisis type of endeavor. So a strategic pause is certainly a technique, and it's used by skilled negotiators worldwide.
Indeed, with all what we have discussed here, something that's inevitable is the modern technology and the fact that knowledge is basically instantaneous for us. So going into the modern approach, has technology, social media, and AI made crisis negotiations more difficult by increasing the pressure to make quick decisions and allowing misinformation to spread almost instantly? Professor, could you give that?
Again, as I said, that technology is one thing which none of us in this room would ever say that is not necessary. But as we say that when things brings good at this stage, they also brings the bad. Specifically in cases where crisis or a situation has been occurring, I guess technology is one thing that even before the things has brought to a dispute, the social media, the AIs, the technology, they give us the solution to the dispute. It can be biased one, that remains a question still, that a perspective being created towards one particular forum, does that adds a pressure is one thing. My basic contention to that as a negotiator, it shouldn't. I have always been saying, and I guess, and I was discussing this with other assessors in this morning as well, that whether this would be a very controversial statement to say, but I believe it to be true, is that technology has certainly enhanced the communication, but has failed to enhance the truth. And when I say this, my only contention is that whenever the situation of technology of creating an image, creating a perspective at a larger stage. So today what happens? We see something, we are guided or misguided, leaving to the party that how we are taking it up. And before that matter even comes either to the courtrooms or even to the negotiation table, we are bound, okay, look, we already have a perspective outside. Any such decision, any such settlement, anything would maybe go against that particular point. But as a negotiator, as has been rightly discussing in the past 25, 30 odd minutes, it is about what facts is being brought. Moreover, it should also only focus as to what the Lordship rightly mentioned is the interest of the parties. That interest might not be available on the technology, it might not be available on the social media, on the public opinions. It can only be expressed in the opinion of the disputants. That this particular dispute with this particular interest of party A and a party B, the disputants in our case, will definitely be sorted out with these negotiations that we are discussing on to. The interest do come on to. There is a large amount of uncreated but public opinion pressures which is there. In this special times of how the social media comes and reacts to even one thing or the everything that we have. The likes or the dislikes do not decide the disputes, and let us be very honest when we discuss this. If this would have been the case, I guess the courts, the advocates, the negotiators, the dispute resolvers would have gone back home. That it's only about the perspective or the public opinion to decide on to. And that's not the case. And I'll give you a small example, and I'll quote the head APIIT when he mentioned that a match is going on. And let's take a very clear example of what India and Sri Lanka are playing. We do have a perspective. The Indian supporters definitely wants India to win. The Sri Lankan supporters definitely wants the Sri Lankans to win. But that is not how the matches are won. The matches are won because of how they are playing. So in a negotiation as well, it's about valuing the interest ethically, definitely, addressing the issues, and not only addressing, respecting the interest of the parties. So yes, the technology has brought communications, has brought things to our fingertips. Unfortunately, the truth has still to be witnessed. The truth has still to be positioned out. And in our case, where the negotiation comes into place, it's about valuing the interest. That is the truth of the parties. Yeah.
Indeed, Professor. With the mention of the cricket match, where there is intention, there is also the possibility of emotions breaking out. His Lordship when negotiation breaks down and emotions have taken over, what is the most effective way to bring the parties back to rational decision making?
I think the core principle to follow is never ever to react to the opposing party. You respond. You respond, you do not react. And the difference being in a reaction, there is emotion and spontaneity. In a response, there is cognition in between. So never ever react, particularly in real life negotiations. You respond.
With that, I would like to end with a question that basically is advantageous for all of us present here today, for the young lawyers. For the young lawyers and future negotiators in this room, what is one principle you would want them to remember when negotiating under pressure? It was mentioned before, but with limited information and serious consequences, is it the same?
Always, and I repeat, always, the interest of the client must supersede your own interest, which would include your own ego.
If I can present this question to
I just, that resonates. And I think the interest of the client, as your lordship indicated, would be to consider negotiation first. Or as, even if a case has been filed, to exhaust the possibility or to at least put it to the test. And he may not be able to resolve it at the outset of the case, but be willing to come back to it and come back to it again and again. So I think to advance the best interest of the client, that really we ought to be looking at not alternatives, but appropriate methods of dispute resolution, and negotiation and mediation are certainly two of my favorites, and I think the clients are best served by considering those things.
Yeah. And I guess just to be the last thing to answer that, I totally agree 100% with what both of them have rightly said. I'll just like to add, follow the process ethically. So that would be the take, and if you can club, it would automatically keeping the interest of the parties, first yours, keeping that ego aside is what rightly the justice rightly mentioned, to keep the parties' interest and the process of the negotiation in an ethical way. When I say emphasizing with all the things on the word ethical, that it fades away, emotions, it fades away anger, it fades away this young generation wants to rage biting more or rage baiting that we'd say, everything on that point. If we value the process, I guess the process of negotiation is something you'll not find it in any rule book to be maintained onto. But it's something that all comes with the good conscience that we all have. And that is where interest of parties, maintaining that dignity of the process and not coming to a hush or a hurry over the solution. Okay, that it is a negotiation. So you do not get the medals on your shoulder by being the solution giver, but rather the negotiator, being a negotiator, which may result not to this dispute, but even further disputes from getting to be arised onto. So that would be my submission.
Indeed, Professor, I think with all that we have covered here in this panel discussion, I have to confess that if I ask another question, I will be forcing you all to repeat your answers. So maybe let's hand over the floor to the crowd and invite everyone gathered here to ask any question that they have in mind. Please feel free to direct your questions to our distinguished panelists.
Thank you, everyone, and it was a very thought-provoking session. I remember, my question is Your Lordship, and when I visited you to invite to this event, and we were talking about negotiation, and you told us 3 stages of negotiation. First one, before entering into the contract, and second one, after entering into the contract, you have to maintain the relationship, and third one for dispute resolution. Can you please elaborate this further for the benefits of everyone gathered here? Thank you.
particularly in a business environment, retaining the business relationship with the other party and ensuring that business objectives are met is of paramount importance. Even if during the implementation stage of the contract, disputes arise. That disputes arise is because all of us are human beings. That is the very nature of being human. What is more important is to have relationships running, contracts being implemented, notwithstanding the eruption of disputes. And therefore, no sooner a dispute, the occurrence of a dispute has been reported to you, you being the legal advisor of your client, you must inherently attempt to ensure that the relationship between the parties remain. The implementation of the contract continues, yet the dispute is resolved in the most appropriate manner. The occurrence of a dispute should not signal the end of the contract or a deterioration of the relationship between the parties, particularly in corporate environments, particularly in business relationships. It is so very important to address the dispute while protecting the relationship.
Certainly, if there's any other questions, we might be limited to one or two more.
Thank you so much for the panel. My question stems from the fact that in competitions we see the first 10-15 minutes usually go in formalities and niceties, thanking the other party 10 times for coming to the table, thanking your own counsel for coming to the table. And while I understand that that is for a better theoretical understanding of the process itself, what do you think should be the approach? Because as I understand, in actual negotiations, this is not something that's very common. You get on a table and you start talking. Where do you think we draw that line? You know, how many niceties is too many niceties when it comes to negotiation, especially in a competition like this?
Well, I think the niceties are important. It's about establishing rapport, building trust, credibility. But I think your point is well taken, that you don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time on the so-called niceties. There are other things to be accomplished and to delve into. So I think you need to have a plan. It's important to have a plan going into any negotiation, including a simulation, and to allocate your time accordingly. So a good portion of your time ought to be, certainly in the beginning, a portion for establishing rapport, ascertaining what the interests of the parties are, establishing an agenda that both sides can agree on, exploring ideas, and then getting down to the negotiation. And so leave your time for all of those things, because they're all important. You could spend, the whole time just getting to know the other person, but that's really not the whole point of the exercise. So allocate your time judiciously, and if you can resolve the problem or reach a settlement or a resolution, more power to you. But as the professor said, it's not obligatory. The process is certainly important, but use your time accordingly.
Just to add to what you said, and there are two portions to it. I guess if everybody noticed the way he started off his question, he thanked the panel first, and that was also being courteous. So first thing, to take it from there. Second, too much of everything, too much of sugar causes diabetes. This, I guess, everybody in this room agrees on. The only difference when I bring in competitions, now we see competition for nearly 90 minutes, And the real life negotiations take 90 minutes multiplied by 90 sessions. That can be the maximum that we can reach, and not all sessions. But the first session is always courteous. He will have to give that OS, the opening statement that we make, so that that building thing comes into place. In a competition, as I said, too much of anything, whether this side or that side, would cause an harm. But you should also remember, and I know everybody in this room now know, the criteria for your assessments. And that's there. And it never says that I was too courteous. Will I get a 5 on a 5 for that particular point? I would again bring to what the discussion was all about, value the process. And the process at times would be to draw the process rather than handling anger or being too courteous. It's about how well you can just dig into what the other parties are. And when I say dig in, I only come to the fact of valuing and taking out the interest. So that by the first 30 or the first starting 10 odd minutes, you are actually drawing a conversational and a comfort level, so that what needs to be addressed is brought on the plate. And the next 10 minutes, I would generally say that the entire, when you divide the 10, 10, 10 that is taken onto, you address, and that is where what the justice rightly mentioned, how do you value the partner? That's the best among the rest. So all things needs to be there on the table. That's the same thing which I guess you did on the buffet table this morning. You kept your plate ready, and the first thing that you wanted to eat was the partner for you. So you'll have to have things on your plate to decide the best. And how you are going to do that? By being courteous, by addressing you with a smile, I guess, will bring a smile on your face. So that's the key. But continuously smiling and saying, my interest is also this, and I'm the one who is an accused out here, I can't have that smile and being too courteous. So yes, draw a line, depending, and you people are far more experienced in that, on drawing that particular line. But yes, value the process, and it is majorly to be courteous enough so that I can get all the interest on the table, and then divide what's best for my client and then for both the parties. So if justice has to begin.
Certainly, Professor. Maybe just enough time to squeeze one more question. I think we have it at the back.
I'd like to thank the panel first. I am Dia Jain, a third-year law student from NLIU Bhopal. My question was pertaining to how do we as young law students really look at mediation and negotiation later on? Because I think a lot of us look at corporate and litigation as the primary careers. So what in your experience would you say, how would we as law students really approach it as professionals? Thank you.
And I would really urge you in the sense this entire new generation, to divorce yourself from the label of being a lawyer, to attract to yourself the label of being a legal advisor, cum dispute resolution professional. You become a dispute resolution professional with equal strengths in participating in negotiations, in participating in mediations, both as a representative of a party as well as a mediator, in participating in conciliation, participating in contractual adjudication, arbitration, and litigation. So you need to re-engineer yourself from our generation of being not a pure lawyer in the sense of being a litigator, rather being a legal advisor, cum dispute resolution professional. That is my advice to you.
So I'll just add to your query. You asked a question about corporate law to the three of us who are not from corporate law. So, and the best thing, I guess, which all three did, and I can speak on behalf of all three here, we followed what we wanted. With him being there to be the judge or the judiciary side, with Patrick there to be taking that thing, and myself taking academician. So if I say I come from a family of lawyers, and on a very lighter note, my blood group is LLB positive. Because the 5th generation of lawyering in my family, and the only and the most unsuccessful lawyer of my family, because I have never practiced. So just to add that, and this is my request to everybody, specifically the ones sitting back and the young or the brighter minds rather, follow what your heart says and follow what your dreams are. Dreams are not given by the person sitting next on your chair. It's your dream. You copyright over it. Now, the IPR faculty should also come in place. So it's you copyright over it. Follow it. You can become, with the likes of what Patrick has done to this particular community, you can become to the likes of the justice there. I would not say should also become the likes of what their admission is also about. But that's exactly what you follow. You will follow with the dedication, with the complete honesty and integrity. Sky is the limit. That's only what I can help you off with. So you want corporate, you can get into corporate. You want, somebody outside the room was asking, sir, I heard you are an IPR faculty. How come arbitration? So just to add, I'm a certified arbitrator and a certified mediator. And I do real life IPR arbitration cases. Now this is where, if I want it, I'll have it. So that's exactly the point. Equip yourself. I guess this generation is, and all the generations which is coming would always be a better of the previous version of it. Just like the softwares. So the newer version would automatically be the better versions, and accept that fact. So the generations after you would be better than you. How much crib we can do as a teacher in the classroom, I would say, what you people are on your mobiles all the times. I allow mobiles in my classroom because that's how the thought process is. So I use their own language. So as you might have noted, I've used that word rage baiting, which I guess is not a controversial word anymore. Because if I have to address in the form of what makes you things understand. I like that wonderful BTS video which they did. So why? Because, yeah, that is something that I know that this generation would be more on. More social media presence. I'll cite more of social media examples. So this is how, what you follow, and that is your choice. So there are 3 exits to this room. I will choose which exit would I take and follow my own path. So this would be my submission before I move to bedroom.
So in appellate parlance, I would say I concur. We have a unanimous decision here. Just sage advice. You are a legal advisor who resolves disputes. And I wish I had come to grips with that concept at the stage where you are. And I think you're just so fortunate to have this opportunity, I exclude myself, but to hear these things. And it's really sage advice. So I hope you take it to heart and that you can put it into practice, and that'll be your North Star for years to come. So I'm sure you all will have a very, very promising career. So.
Indeed, with that, I feel like I have to cut your question short. It comes quite out in the open, but comes to this conversation that the crux in negotiating in urgency is basically intention. I won't be able to put everything into one conclusion, but I think it is about knowing when to act, when to pause, what information to trust, how to manage emotions, and how to remain focused on the consequences of the decision being made. And with that, on behalf of the entire APIIT organization, I would like to invite Mr. Bandula Egodage, Chairman of APIIT Sri Lanka, along with Mr. Gamidu Hemachandra, Chief Academic Officer of APIIT Sri Lanka, to hand over a small token of appreciation to the panelists. Thank you, Mr. Bandula. Thank you, Mr. Gamidu. Thank you, Dr. Chatura. On behalf of everyone here, I would like to express our sincere gratitude. Thank you to His Lordship, Honorable Justice Yasantha Kodagoda, President's Counsel, Justice of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, Mr. William Patrick McPhillamy III, and Professor Dr. Devanshu Srivastava for sharing their time, experience, and insight with us. Thank you for giving us a perspective that goes beyond negotiators as a theoretical skill and show us what it means when the pressure is real and the consequences matter. And to everyone here, thank you for being such an attentive audience. That brings our panel discussion to a close. You all may take your seats, and thank you. Back to the MCs.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we draw closer towards the end of today's proceedings, we would like to thank you for your presence and participation throughout the day. With the competition rounds set to commence tomorrow, we kindly remind all on-site teams to be present at least 30 minutes before your respective rounds.
Thank you once again for being a part of ALSINC 2026. We wish you an enjoyable evening and look forward to seeing you during the rounds of the competition. Let's step into the ultimate showdown,
where a stage for negotiation awaits. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to the restaurant as lunch is now being served. Thank you.